Well, Ulises, spring training has not even started yet, but we can go ahead and have some fun with this. 2024 hot takes are hot takes for the upcoming season.
Get your oven mittens ready, people, because things are going to be flying real hot starting right now.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
And we're the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making us your very first listen every day. Be sure to check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also find us on all the other traditional podcasting platforms, as well as X and Instagram at Locked On Rays. And you can email us anytime, lockedonrays@gmail.com. Well, it's something we put out on social media, and we will get to your fun, interesting, and quirky comments on our hot take post. But we'll go ahead and start with each of our respective hot takes for the 2024 season. So as we like to do, Ulises, what is your hot take or hot takes for the upcoming campaign?
Well, first, I think we got to get the ground rules set for what actually is a hot take. Like, what is the ratio of probability of realness to how hot it has to be? So do you have a barometer on how hot takes work for you?
That is a good point. I was not really expecting that. I thought it was relatively known what a hot take would be. I would say that the Rays making the playoffs in 2024 would not be a hot take, but the Rays winning 100+ games in the division would be somewhat of a hot take.
Okay, fair enough. I wanted to get that on the docket here before we start, because
but also there needs to be a we don't want to be silly with our hot takes of saying, Colby White is going to win the MVP in 2024.
Thank you. Exactly. There has to be that's what I mean. There has to be a percentage of realness. Well, I went back into the archives, and for you guys that are watching on YouTube, after I post a question, hit pause, but then after that, hit the like button and then hit the subscribe button if you're not. When was the last time a Rays starting pitcher hit more than 200 innings?
The last time a Rays starting pitcher hit more than 200 innings, I would say you probably have to go all the way back to the James Shields era, where my brain is lapsing on me at the moment, but I would say probably close to a decade, 8 to 10 years since a Rays pitcher has done that.
You're not too far off. The last season that this happened was in 2017. Do you know who did this?
2017, that would have been before Blake Snell because he was 2018. 2017, oh, bad year for the Rays. I'm going to say Nate Eovaldi.
Okay, that's a great guess. Remember, he was traded in the middle of the season, so it can't be him. It is Chris Archer.
Wow.
Chris Archer at 201 innings and change. So why did I begin with how hot takey is a hot take? Well, my hot take is innings pitched. I believe that this year will be the first year since 2017 that a Rays starting pitcher will hit 200 innings. This is the first time that this will happen in 6 seasons, and his name is Zach Eflin. Zach Eflin is going to be that guy. Now, first thing is going to be why Zach Eflin? Well, why Zach Eflin? Because he's the only guy in the rotation that I completely trust in his ability to not only be good, but stay healthy. He almost hit 180 innings last year, and he went on the IL. People don't remember that, but he was on the IL early in the season, not for a long time, but he did miss starts. So 180 with an IL stint and also with the fact of like, hey, let's give you 5 innings here, you're coming back, 5 innings here, you're coming back. There's something I think that I saw in Zach Eflin of the leadership quality that was spotlighted a lot throughout the season, that I think he is going to take that much more seriously now that he's not only the leader, the veteran, but he's also the ace now. Like he's the de facto ace of the Rays pitching staff. It's no longer McClanahan. He's not there. So he's going to take that on. So I feel like with all of these things, my hot take is this exactly. He will hit 200 innings, which hasn't been done since 2017.
I love that. That is a great hot take, and a great pitcher to select for that role. He's certainly getting paid enough. He certainly has enough of a, I guess the term would be, like you said, leader. He's kind of the go-to guy. I could see a scenario where the Rays sort of lengthen the leash for him, but tighten it on some of the other young pitchers, i.e. Shane Baz, i.e. Pepio, i.e. Taj Bradley, by working in a lot of those bullpen arms and those bulk guys. But saying Eflin, wake up, pitch your 7 innings or 6 2/3 and do it 32 times this year, where everybody else sort of might be a little bit more constrained. Maybe Savali gets more of that longer leash as well, but I don't think he's going to be as good as Eflin should be or would be.
A guy that was close to doing it was Charlie Morton in 2019. He overlaps the 190 inning mark. So he was close, but I feel like that's the kind of thing, and I'm really happy that you mentioned it, that leash is going to go longer on him and not other guys. Because if you look at the other cast of characters, it would be Zach Eflin who gets that longer leash. And besides that, we've talked about you need innings. You can't just like burn out the bullpen because Littell gives you 5 and Savali and Bradley or Uwasawa can only give you 5. Like you need innings. So like you need to give the ball to one guy and be like, hey, can you give me 7? Can you give me 7? And so those 7s should add up, and they will add up. So I don't know how hot takey it is. Maybe it is in 2024. Hey, this guy's gonna hit 200 innings. Like
not many guys hit 200 innings. There were 5 this past year.
Yeah. There you go. That's my hot take.
And Eflin is in the second year of a 3-year deal. Is that correct?
That is correct. And I wish I would have. Well, you know what? I'm gonna keep that in the back pocket for something else.
Okay, that's fair. I was just going to say this, that they let Eflin have his quasi-career year, and then eventually Rasmussen's going to be ready. Springs is going to be ready. McClanahan will be ready. Maybe they can pull off a sell high deal. Well, I guess he'd be in the last year of his contract, but maybe they can get a little something for him on the last year of that deal. Although I could also theoretically see where they want to keep him for the eternity of that contract. So it might just give the Rays options to play with of, having a really good season from him.
I think that's a really good point. If you're thinking McClanahan is going to come back and Springs is going to come back and Rasmussen is going to come back and you have Bradley and you have Pepio, could you have a Zach Eflin? Of course. Oh, you already have Savali, Baz. So like 2025, you will have the depth is going to get replenished once again with really, really good arms. So if Zach Eflin is a guy who is able to give you the same production that he did in 2023 was amazing, but then also you add up the 200 innings on top of that, those $18 million for the 2025 season is going to look very, very appetizing to another team that might be, hey, you know what? We're going to give you these prospects. We're going to give you finally a catcher, something like that along those lines. And, so that could also, play into it.
I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah. All right. We have more to discuss on this matter, but first, Ulises, we have to tell the audience something extremely important.
Indeed. Passion, drive, and patience. That's what brings home the winning trophy, and it's also what keeps your ride alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. From superchargers to roof racks to exhaust kits to LED headlights and more. Whether you're into power or speed or style, eBay Motor has got you covered with over 122 million parts for your number one ride. You'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And because you're with eBay Motors, guess what? You're not burning cash, not Kevin Cash. You're burning rubber. Okay. So with all the parts that you need at the prices that you want, it is easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply. eBay guaranteed fit, only available to U.S. customers.
Couple things with the Eflin comment. He is due $18 million in 2025. It's not very often the Rays pay one individual $18 million. So there could be something to that. The other thing, I mentioned there were 5 individuals who crossed the 200 innings pitched threshold last season. Can you name one of them?
Garrett Cole.
Garrett Cole is correct. Can you name another one?
Corbin Burns.
Strike one. Now, Orioles, Corbin Burns. I'll just run through them because I know this isn't a trivia segment. But Logan Webb, clubhouse leader with 216. Zach Gallen, number 2 with 210. Cole, number 3, 209. Miles Mikolas, 201 in a third. And then Chris Bassett, number 5 at 200. Framber Valdez, Luis Castillo, and many others were knocking on the door as well. But it's a very rare company to be a part of. I think Blake Snell won the Cy Young, the NL Cy Young, with 180 innings pitched, give or take.
It's his special. When he hits 180, he will get the Cy Young. That's what he does. Yeah.
That's the idea. There we go. All right. Anything else that you want to mention on the 200 inning pitch, Zach Eflin hot take?
No, I mean, I was feeling a little bit like, is this hot takey enough? Innings pitch. But again, 2024, it's a whole different ballgame.
8-9 years.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't happened exactly in 6 seasons, and it'll be the 7th year. So, I think it was hot enough. You guys can debate me on the comments below, but the fact that only 5 people did it last year makes me feel like it was indeed a hot take.
No, that's a great pick, and we know how the Rays are very 5 and divey as well. All right, my hot take for 2024 is that a Rays player will win Rookie of the Year. And it may not be Junior Caminero. I'm just saying a Rays player will win Rookie of the Year. And there's plenty of candidates to go around between Junior Caminero, who's probably the favorite out of the Rays group, but you also have guys like Curtis Mead, Carson Williams, Ulises Basabe, still rookie eligible. Austin Shenton as a 26-year-old could be rookie. And here's maybe the dark horse or the sneaky pick, Yuki Uesawa. He will technically be a rookie. Ooh. So there is some precedence in history. And I know of late, recently, the Rookie of the Year winners have been big names, splashy, forthcoming stars, Corbin Carroll, Gunnar Henderson, Jordan Alvarez, Aaron Judge, our own Randy Arozarena. But over the years, you have to dig back a little bit. But every time there's a guy that bleeds through that you're like, wow, this guy really won Rookie of the Year. And that could be the case this year where we look back 365 days from now and say, wow, Curtis Mead won Rookie of the Year, or Carson Williams won Rookie of the Year. I'm just going to throw out some names, some not necessarily comparisons, but guys who won Rookie of the Year over the last 15, 20, 25 years that you may not have really expected or realized. Michael Fulmer, Kyle Lewis, Chris Coughlin, Angel Baroa, friend of the program or friend of the Rays organization, Eric Hinsky, Jonathan India, who's kind of slid back to earth over the past couple of years, Bobby Crosby, Ben Grieve. So those are a couple names I'll mention. Also Japanese players have had a solid history of winning ROY. Ichiro, Sasaki, Shohei Ohtani. And every once in a while, a reliever, such as Neftali Feliz, Andrew Bailey, Houston Street. So
Craig Kimbrell, I think, also won it, didn't he?
Yeah. I was kind of going with more obscure-ish
Oh, okay. Okay,
names
fine. Yeah.
to some extent. But what I'm saying, it's all for the taking. And I think they've exceeded their rookie eligibility, but if they haven't, this is just another bonus in my wheelhouse, Johnny DeLuca and Shane Baz. But according to Baseball Reference, they exceeded their limits, although I don't know if they necessarily match the parameters of 50 innings pitched or I think 130 at bats. But I think there's something with if you've been on an MLB roster for a certain period of time, you're no longer eligible. But hey, if we want to add them to the equation as rookie eligible, I'll take it, because my hot take is that a Rays player will win Rookie of the Year. And maybe this could be a year where it doesn't necessarily take a crazy season. Maybe it just takes a 260 batting average with 17 home runs to get it done.
I'm looking at Baseball Reference right now, and it says Johnny DeLuca has 45 plate appearances. So he should be, but it says exceeded rookie limits during the 2023 season. So I think it must be something like you said of being on the roster for this and that, how much time you are in it. But perhaps he was on the IL and he was still earning service time because of that, and not necessarily playing time. So yeah, that would have been a good one. So if you needed to make a podium, 1, 2, 3 of, I don't want to say likeliest, because then we would all pick Caminero to be the likeliest. So perhaps let's take out Caminero from this just to make it a little bit more fun and difficult. Okay. Who's your podium? Likeliest to third likeliest?
Likeliest to third likeliest. I will say Curtis Mead, Ulises. The third one's tough. I like Carson Williams, but I also could see a sneaky like emergence from in Austin Shenton, for example, where a guy that's 26, 27 knocks on the door and has a really, really solid season. And that's the other thing that I put into this. I know everybody wants to talk about Jackson Churio and Jackson Holiday. I mean, those are, quality guys, and I guess they're favorites on the betting websites, but I think they're 19, 20 years old. I think, sometimes a rookie that's, 24, 25, 26, that's the guy that could put up the best numbers or have the strongest start to their rookie campaign. I mean, look at Randy Arozarena, for example. I mean, he was basically in the bigs for 3 different seasons before he got his rookie of the year shot. So
yeah, and then compared to Johnny DeLuca, that has like less than 50 plate appearances, and then he's already exceeded. So yeah, that's funny how that works. But I like the Ulises pick a lot for the rookie of the year. I like it a lot. Curtis Mead, friend of the program. If you haven't listened to our interviews with him, he's been on the pod twice. Go listen to him. He's a very insightful young man. Pulling it for him. I like those 2 picks. Austin Shenton and Carson Williams, although I am hoping for the best for their career, especially with the Rays. Man, if I see Carson Williams and Austin Shenton in a Rays uniform in 2024 for a long, extended amount of time, does that scream like good, like that if everything's turning out to be a good season? Because I don't think so.
Yeah. Probably not, but you never know. Sometimes guys have a real breakthrough moment in the offseason and spring training, and they do things that nobody really expected, and kind of tied into all that. Yeah.
Wait, I mean, like, there's no room for them. So the fact if Austin Shenton or a Carson Williams is getting enough at bats to be a rookie of the year candidate, what went wrong? Like, what went wrong so that Carson had a spot? What went wrong that Austin has a spot? That scares me.
Paredes tears his ACL. Jose Caballero has a setback. Something happens to Taylor Walls. Wander Franco is incarcerated. There we go.
Not good things.
That's true. That's fair. And, well, kind of interloped with all that. I'm not comparing Austin Shenton to Isaac Paredes. I'm just trying to make a point that, did we ever really expect Isaac Paredes to be this good of a
Right.
player this quickly. Maybe that's something where Austin Shenton, he gets 100 games under his belt and he plops off 20 homers and a 245 batting average. That might be enough to win Rookie of the Year.
I'm just thinking, you said third base, Rookie of the Year. We didn't expect it. Guess what? Let's go back to 2008. And a young Evan Michael Longoria does not make the opening day roster. But who gets hurt? I believe it was Willie Ibar who gets hurt.
Yeah.
And off comes calling, and Longoria steps up. And guess what? Rookie of the Year award happened to Evan. So that season went great, and something bad had to happen in order for Evan to take his spot. So if something bad were to happen so that Carson and Austin get their shot, well, hopefully they're able to just pop off so well that you're able to withstand that loss.
And again, we've said it. This is the year. The kids are going to play. The kids are going to get opportunities. I don't necessarily care which kids it is, but there's going to be playing time to be had. And I think that opens up a window or a lane for some of these guys. And again, not saying that, this might be the year. I know it's been very few and far between where, some of these rookies are like, holy cow, like, let's go ahead and put them in the Hall of Fame. But every once in a while, there's a year where it's like the numbers are rather pedestrian, but that guy was the best Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Like Chris Coughlin, for example. So it happens. And this might be the year that happens. You mentioned Evan Longoria. I mentioned Randy Arozarena. Can you name the two other Rookies of the Year in Rays history?
Jeremy Hellickson, 2010.
2011, correct?
2011, dang. And, Randy Arozarena won it in 2021, right?
Yep, and you got that. I mentioned that one, so there's one more.
Okay, wait, hold up. So Longo 08, Hellickson 2011, Randy Arozarena 2021, and best hair for an TV interview 2013's Will Mother Bleeping Myers.
That would be correct, sir. Will Myers, 2013. At 22 years old. 88 games is all he needed. And 13 home runs and 53 RBI. All he needed to win Rookie of the Year there. So, all right, we are going to get to some listener hot takes in reaction to such. But first, we have to tell you happy Super Bowl to all who celebrate from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. If you're like me, Super Bowl Sunday is all about scoring the best seat on the couch, grabbing your favorite football snacks, and placing some awesome bets. FanDuel has so many ways for you to end the season with a W or 2 or 3 or more. Not only can you bet on who will actually win Super Bowl 58, but FanDuel also has bets for which players will score a touchdown, how many points will be scored, and so much more. New customers join today, and you'll get $200 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. So just visit FanDuel.com/LockedOnLOCKEDON to sign up. That's FanDuel.com/LockedOnLOCKEDON. Make every moment more with FanDuel. They are an official sportsbook partner of the National Football League. All right, Ulises, getting to some listener comments with spring training inching closer and closer. What is your one hot take for the 2024 season? And we have a bevy of comments from the populace out there. Let's go ahead and roll through some of these. Ryder Rasmussen Enjoyer says, Yuki Uesawa will pitch over 175 innings. That's bold. I know that he's gotten to 170 plus in Japan. I guess it remains to be seen whether he will make the Rays opening day roster and in what type of role and how they will deploy Uesawa. I think there's also a lot of things to contend with as far as the difference between playing in Japan and the U.S. because in Japan, you're in the same time zone wherever you're at. The U.S., you've got different time zones to navigate, not to mention different stress levels, different ball, different type of gameplay and competition. There's a lot that has to be worked out and adjusted to. I would say, as much as I am pushing for him as a Rookie of the Year candidate, I was thinking more along the lines of, and maybe this is a liberal opinion, of, between 120 to 150, I guess. And that might even be on the high side. I don't know.
But again, he's going hot take. He's going
yes,
hot
that
take.
is true.
It's a hot take. I like it.
Zach Dab says the Low and Lau Lumber Company both get MVP votes. I like it.
I like it. It's hot. It's hot.
Yeah.
Can Brandon stay healthy? Hopefully.
Yes, that is always the key. Ty McCann says the Rays will lead the AL in runs scored. Well, they were second last year to the Texas Rangers, and there were a lot of injuries on the Rays roster over the course of the season. So there's one. John, obviously a burner, says the Rays will make 4 trades by the deadline and still be in playoff contention. From the offseason, we will find out some positive news that would shock everyone, such as offering Ohtani a bunch of years for $600 million, that type of news.
Okay, so like a Freddie Freeman, we were second in the
second
running.
in the Freeman race, second in the Ozuna race, second in a lot of races, second in a lot of trades as well.
Second in the Nelson Cruz 2018 vibes. That's when we needed him.
That's true. DK Murph says Cash will resign or resign for personal reasons. I assume he means resign. That is an interesting take. R Hill, our buddy, says Taj will have double-digit wins. Taj Bradley did win 5 games this past year with a 5.59 ERA in 100-plus innings, so I could see double-digit wins. He just really has to improve a little bit, and I think he might be in contention for some dubs there. Yeah. Chris Snyder is on my wavelength. Rookies are going to shine. I agree. Okay. Loyal Luke says Randy is going to rake this whole year. And tied to that, Michael Sade says Randy gets a long-term deal in the next month. That's a hot take because I don't think Randy's going to get a long-term deal. And as far as Randy raking, I mean, it depends what your definition of Randy raking is. I see Randy doing what Randy has done the last 3 years of, 250 to 260 batting average with another 2020 season. If you want to qualify that as raking, okay. I would think more along the lines of, 30 plus bombs and a 280 batting average. Not just to go off batting average, but an OPS of like 840, 850 and not 790.
I mean, that would be real sexy, and I would be all down for that. Yeah.
Anthony Valentine says Savali has an all-star caliber year. I'll take it.
Yes, give me that.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with that one. Ryan says Caminero will win the Rookie of the Year. Okay. Calls for that. John Bettman says maybe this year they can keep the rotation healthy. That'll never happen.
It's the hottest take that we've heard today.
Yeah.
That's never, yeah.
I mean, I guess it depends what your definition of staying healthy is. Like if you're going to allow, a couple IL stints, but inevitably there's probably going to be one starting pitcher that has some sort of season-ending injury or misses a huge chunk of time.
God, that's why the 2012 season for the Rays, they were a 90-win team. They should have been in the playoffs, honestly, when you win 90 games. But that damn pitching staff, man, that was just such a nasty pitching staff. And when you look at the innings pitched, I'm just going to run through these, okay? This is just silly. Yeah. Shields, 227. Price, 211. Moore, 177. Hellickson, 177. Cobb, 136. Wade Davis, 70. And that was as a reliever. And Rodney, 74.
Yeah, you don't even need you don't need any other arms after that. Just those handful of guys, those half dozen names. You don't need middle relievers at that point.
That was a healthy rotation.
Yeah.
That was a healthy rotation. Now, could we have that? I hope so.
Yeah, we'll see. Daryl Brooks says Josh Lowe will be the 6th member of the 40-40 club. That is a really, really, really hot take. I guess we should probably start with the 30-30 club first. I will say this. I like his line of thinking. I mean, Josh Lowe, I think we don't talk about how good of a season he had last year with nearly a 4 WAR and 20 homers and 32 stolen bases. But 40-40, again, like Daryl mentioned, only Acuna, Soriano, A-Rod, Bonds, and Canseco have accomplished that feat. So, but I could see a 30-30 season at some point in Josh Lowe's future, maybe as soon as next year. Might take some playing against left-handed pitchers. I don't know. We'll see with that.
Yeah.
Professor Stonewell says we'll win close to 100 games, win the AL East, and get swept in the playoffs because we can't score. All right. And then the Fair Poll says Tyler Alexander becomes a sneaky killer out of the pen. Like that one.
Love that. Love that. That's a hot take because it's like under the radar hot take.
Yeah.
Love that. That's really good.
Under the radar hot take. There we go. Out of any of these comments, Ulises, any of these really resonate with you between talk of Josh Lowe, Brandon Lau, Uwasawa, runs scored, Taj Bradley, Randy?
They were all pretty
year.
good. I mean,
Yeah.
if Tosh is giving you double-digit wins, that's amazing. That's really, really good. And I know the wins don't mean a lot for a pitcher, but it means that he's out there. It means that he's healthy. It means that he's probably giving his team a chance to win too, because the Rays are usually not a juggernaut of offense. That they are built on pitching and defense. So you're going to have to win close games. And close games are usually 4-2, 3-1, 2-0. They're not usually like 10-9 and 10-8. Yeah. Those are not usually close games. So I like that one. And I'm with you on the Josh Lowe. 40-40, let's pump the brakes. But again, it's hot take season. This is a hot take. So I can't fault him for being too hot on this. So 30-30 would be nice. I'd be very happy with the 30-30 from Josh. So that would be my hot take, I think. I think a 30-30 would be very hot takey, but 40-40, my goodness.
40-40, that's you got
historic.
Like 6-degree burns. I don't want to end on a negative note here. I just really hope that Taj Bradley doesn't turn into or become the next Luis Patino. I hope he actually builds and grows and fosters rather than stays stagnant or depreciates in skill level and performance level.
And you know what would help with that, I think, is a little bit more, just a tiny bit of seasoning in AAA, which would give then Naoyuki Owasawa the role for the rotation, get him healthy, get him out there. That's my take, but let's see what happens. Spring training hasn't even begun, folks. This is just starting, and I know we're running long here, so just letting you guys know we have really good ideas for the month of February and March for content. So if you feel like, oh man, baseball news are slow, everything's kind of just like crawling, we have been on a rampant storm of ideas, Kevin and I, and we have come up with really cool stuff to do with you guys for February and March. So we're really excited about that.
Yes, we are, and hope you all stay tuned and listen and continue to interact with it. And we're not going to go away from things like mailbags and Twitter comments and such. So keep sending us your input as well. We always appreciate. In the meantime, hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you tomorrow.